Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Sammy, United People's TV, and we're here with another daily live news show. Going to run through all the latest. Going to speak about Senne Lammens. His second part of his interview with United sort of speaks about his confidence, his mentality, how he's, I suppose, developed himself as a goalkeeper right now, but how aware he is about how much more he needs to develop at United. I think it's an interesting chat to have. We're also going to be speaking through the international break, who's in action. Diogo Dalot isn't in action. He's left the Portuguese camp with an injury. Well, muscular concern. We'll also speak about, there's plenty of other talking points here today, but largely you'll get involved in the chat and we'll get distracted, we'll get diverted, and I'll get involved with what you have to say. I feel a little bit, it's nice. After the transfer window that we had, I told you I was actually genuinely looking forward to an international break simply for the fact that it would be a little bit of downtime, and it's exactly how I feel now. I feel like I'm getting re-energized for spanking City and then beating Chip. Well, we'll see what goes on there. Let's see who's here from the mod and the member gang, and let's get on with today's show. Carl, good morning to you, and good morning to you as well. Steph, good morning to you. Josh, you'll be there as well. We've got plenty of members. Fran, good morning to you. Steve, we've got Loz, we've got Shmee, Teresa, we've got Tony, Freddie, we've got Caleb. Lots of new faces too. We've got Raging Bull, we've got Mr. Moisey. It's a questionable username. Still get cold sweats thinking about that season with David Moyes. Or let's be honest, I think we've certainly had worse than that season now. Anyway, let's get on with today's show. Big up to Stu, by the way. He sent me the program. That's now up there. It's the only place I could fit it. I didn't want to put a big pin through it and then put it on the actual wall itself. So it's just gone onto the shelf next to United We Stand. And you can't really see it there, but that there is a red issue from 2015. Yeah. I found it randomly. Red issue, of course, doesn't exist anymore. An OG United fanzine. And we've got... I haven't actually read this one yet. Got the latest one here. It's got a Delict interview in it. Anyone else subscribe? I always enjoy these mags. I've got a lot of time for Andy Minton. Always have. I've spoken to him a couple of times on the channel. Should try and get him on here. Fred, good morning to you. I didn't blank you. Get over yourself. I'm only joking. Right, let's get on with today's show. A little bit of random news that's got absolutely nothing to do with the United. But if you're Matthias Tell, are you not fuming at that? Man. Left out of Spurs' Champions League squad, and he only joined them on a permanent deal this summer. Now, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. When Spurs took him on, that it was, that was at a time last January where we all kind of felt desperate for an attacking addition. The club decided not to do it because they decided not to sort of, I suppose, panic and just bring a body in for the sake of it. Was Spurs obliged to sign Tell this summer, or did they just do it anyway? I can't actually remember whether it was a loan with an obligation. Because if it was an obligation, and then all of a sudden the season starts, and despite what Kulusevski being, is he injured? I think he's injured. They've left him out of this. That's surely going to absolutely kill his morale. It certainly would if I was Matthias Tell. What are you saying down there? He was so good at Bayern as a super sub. Someone down there. Daz, you're saying we dodged a bullet with him. What it's it's that idea of, I suppose it's not exactly the same in any way, shape or form, but United went for Baleba this summer. They couldn't get Baleba. And we tried to, it's a little bit random, I'll be totally honest. This one here is random. I don't really know why Fab's tweeting about this morning, that United have had a loan proposal rejected by Atletico for Conor Gallagher. I presume that was just in the draft. I have no idea why. But United, after Baleba, decided, I think this much is obvious now, not to just go and sign. We already spoke about this. Like, you could have gone out and signed Hjulmand. It's not that we guaranteed that we would have got him, but we would have had the money probably to go out and sign Hjulmand. We would have had the money to go out and sign Ederson maybe from Atalanta. Loads of other ones. But the club decided not to. Hence why going after Conor Gallagher on loan, and that will show you the sort of midfielder that Amorim felt like he wanted. Gallagher's, to be fair, give him a job. He's kind of like Ugarte, isn't he? Am I being unfair there when I'm just sort of describing Conor Gallagher as a player? I think so. E-Man saying we hate good midfielders. I mean, we literally went after the ideal one for what we need, and we couldn't get him. So the club decided not to invest in somebody else and to wait for Baleba. Truth be told, I think United will go after him quite aggressively in January. That'll be my sort of January transfer window prediction, is we try and sign Baleba. And I don't really think we go after anybody else. I don't really think we would need to. Stu, you're saying they think they're waiting for January to spend on a midfielder. I don't really know if that... I don't know if anything is really different in January. You're still in the same accounting year. Anything up until June the 30th next year goes in the same year of accounts. Would United potentially have a bit more cash in the bank by the time January comes around? I don't particularly know. I'm not sure how the cash flow patterns of United go and whether or not we actually put more money in the bank between September and January. I don't particularly think so. But I think we'll go back in big on Baleba in January. And that's why we only went after someone like Conor Gallagher on loan as an alternative. Someone down there saying he's a better Ugarte. DP saying, so is Baleba going to keep being bad to help devalue himself? He's not had the strongest start to the season, but I think we all know exactly why. His head's been turned. His head isn't in Brighton right now. But that will settle. In a game or two, I think Baleba will just get back to his best, and then all of a sudden he'll look really, really strong again. I don't really have any concerns about that. I don't particularly think many Brighton fans have. I suppose if you're a Brighton fan, you are concerned about that. Carl, you're saying they should be working on the Baleba deal now and get an agreement in place so when the winter window opens, it's done on day one. I mean, I know you can do that. I think we've spoken about this before. Although the transfer window is when you can register players and deregister players so they can actually play for different clubs. It doesn't mean that you can't negotiate with clubs outside of that. But I suppose it's unusual because of the fact that those negotiations mid-season whilst games are going on will affect said player and therefore affect said team. And probably will affect results and performances. I think that's likely why more negotiations don't happen during the season. Lily saying, I'm tired of our scouting being subpar. There is a cheaper alternative to Baleba out there who is just as good. I've sort of spoken about that with all of you before as well. I would love United to find the next Adam Wharton without having to spend £80 million for him. Or the next Carlos Baleba without having to spend what is likely to be north of 100 mil on him. We haven't quite got there yet, right? Now, what's going down here? Barto, you're still mentioning Martinez being a central defensive midfielder. Is anybody still doing that? That feels like such a FIFA move. I think Ten Hag previously already said that Martinez doesn't have the physical capacity to play in that role. You are a lot more active. A lot more running goes in terms of being a central midfielder than it does being a centre-back. Or left centre-back. Martinez wouldn't work there. You know what I'm going to be interested to see? Little random segue here. When Martinez is fit, or even now, if you just ignore Martinez for the time being, Mazraoui, right? His cameo against Burnley came on. He looked class. Looked like Mazraoui last season, just kind of a continuation of what he was. I wonder what happens with Yoro and whether or not Yoro then ends up going back to left centre-back and Mazraoui comes in at right centre-back. Or whether Luke Shaw keeps his position at left centre-back, Yoro stays at right centre-back and then kind of subs in and out with Mazraoui. I don't really know what's going to happen there. But I'll tell you what I'm doing for my lunchtime video today, which I think you'll enjoy. I'm definitely going to enjoy doing it. Going to do a full assessment of United's squad, starting 11 and strength in depth. So, going to look at the entire squad and see, we all know where the bloody big weakness is. You don't need to watch the video to know that that's going to be in midfield. But what about the actual rest of the team? How much quality do we have? I'm going to run through that. Mazraoui central midfielder, sod that, put Mazraoui as number 10. That's his best position, isn't it? Klein, good morning to you, dude. All the way from South Africa, gifting 20 memberships. You're all legends. Can I just say to everyone in the community, prepare yourselves. Well, not prepare yourselves, but we did a community survey a couple of weeks ago. Can I say thank you to everybody who responded to that? We had over 200 responses, which is huge in terms of giving us the info and the detail that we need to better the community and bring new things in. And I'll give you a little bit of a teaser of something that a big plan that I'm working on in the background with the team is, I'm not going to give you a name for it yet, but it's going to be like something new on top of United People's TV and kind of more content. But we need to know from you exactly what you'd like to see inside that. I'm being a little bit, what do you call it? Mysterious with it right now because it's in the very, very early stages. But we're going to be putting out another survey. So if you can all please respond to that one too, it will really help guide us to know what you want to be part of it. All right. Klein, man, you've been an absolute ledge this morning. Seriously, another 20. 2 Van Persies dropped. Nice. All of you, make sure you join the Discord as well. Glenn, you're saying what Euro stepping up to central defensive midfield. See what he has ball playing. Nah, sod that. I see Euro's future still as the central centre back. I still see that. We'll find out. Now, let's speak about Senne Lammens, right? Sad, you're saying got someone down there called Sad? Sadly, anyway. Saying a little random, but I appreciate the balanced and honest perspective you bring on United. I appreciate that, man. Look, sometimes you see me hot-headed. Sometimes I'm calm. I'm just a United fan. And it's been a pretty tumultuous time. And that's me being polite. But yeah, I appreciate all the chat we have. It's a huge part of my day. Every single day I come here and I chat to the same regular faces and we have the conversation. We run through all the latest United news. Now, Senne Lammens, right? I thought there was a cool couple of things yesterday that happened. I thought this was one of them, right? So this is from the interview, the second part of the interview with Harry Robinson. And that there he's holding is an old photo from 2020 when Senne Lammens played for Bruges and United played Bruges in a friendly. Now, little random pub quiz. Can anybody name some of the other players here? Because I've got the full list. Because I was doing it this morning. I was like, well, I recognise you. I recognise you. How many of those players can you recognise? Someone down there saying, you sound like Amrim. Sometimes I want to quit my job. I saw, to be fair, I've got to share this. This actually cracked me up. You know, sometimes you get good videos and sometimes you get crap ones. Whoever did this on Instagram absolutely nailed it. Right? Who is it? Jordan Football Club. I reckon you probably stole it from someone else. But I've got to get this up. Oh, God. Too many windows.
Be with him. So, again, I need to improve on that. It's going to be hard. Sometimes I want to quit. Sometimes I want to be here for 20 years. Sometimes I don't want to be with him. So, again, I need to improve on that.
I know it's a little bit loud, but I couldn't change the volume on it. Anyway, crack me up. That's quite a good one. Sometimes you scroll on Instagram, you get some good stuff. A lot of crap stuff. Right, anyway, I was saying about the players here, and yep, you did get some of them. So this is the full list. We've got Angel Gomez, got Galbraith, we've got Chong, we've got Mengi. You can't see him, but Matej Kovar's in that. McGee, got Dylan Levitt. Shortire was on the bench. Hannibal Medjbury was on the bench. Oh, yeah. Senne Lammens, top left. So that was him playing for Club Bruges. But I just want to run through a couple of things he said in his interview, and I would probably call them green flags, right? And here he was talking about sort of what you need to be a good goalkeeper. So if you want to be a good goalkeeper, you've got to be the rock behind the defence. They have to trust you and count on you in difficult moments, and that is something I take pride in. Of course, I can improve in this because the next level is bigger, but it's one of my attributes that I'm proud of and I try to improve. So he's saying there, look, my reliability, the fact that the defense can just trust whatever's going on behind them is sound. That's something that he's proud of. That's one of the attributes that he feels very confident in himself. Of course, things change when you come to United, but look, my parents are also really calm and collected, but I also developed this mentality from growing up when I was in the youth, and I thought about being a goalkeeper, and I wanted to become in later life. I think one of the best attributes you can have as a goalkeeper is staying calm under pressure. In any circumstances, even if you make a mistake or something, you just move on and try to give your best for the team. Now, of course, it's lip service in that sense. Oh, this is exactly what United fans want to hear, right? But a little bit more here in terms of a green flag. I don't know. I've never even thought about it. Like, keeps a notebook for games. Before and after the game, writes down the key words and his thoughts. And it's almost like if you do that, you can kind of be your own coach because you might forget things before games, after games. But if you've got a notebook down there, it'll sort of trigger and remind you going into the next game. Look, this lad is... Has there been a goalkeeper that we've signed who has come into the team under more immediate pressure than Senne Lammens? I'm trying to think. When we signed De Gea, was that 2011? Did we sign De Gea in the season where we lost on goal difference? I can't actually remember. When did we sign De Gea? Man United signed David De Gea. Was it 2011? So he came in 2011, right? Go away, BBC. And you're saying Barthez, Bosnich, De Gea down there. So we signed him in 2011. So his first... Does that mean his first season was the season that we lost on goal difference? Damn. That's a hell of a first season. And I think we lost the season before... Or was it the season before that Chelsea won? I can't remember those years. I suppose every Manchester... Oh, I'm going to pull that out. That's random. I suppose every... Bosnich replacing Schmeichel. Man, that was like an absolute catastrophe. But yeah, I reckon probably more after Schmeichel. Who am I kidding? Replacing Van der Sar's not easy either. Look, I suppose that there never is an easy time to come in as Manchester United's goalkeeper. I just really hope that he can sort of use being a United player as a strength. So many players come to Old Trafford and think they want to play there, and when they play there, they go like their asses fall out. Pyro saying, you and your quizzes, Sam. I can't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. It's like I'm just trying to remember myself. Yeah, De Gea had a rough start, didn't he? Remember that, all the flapping in the first season. Boy, did he recover well from that. Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing him play. But his words himself, one of his own strengths and something that he's personally proud of is being the rock for the defence. That's something that he focuses on himself. More, you're saying there's no pressure on him. He can't be worse than our current crop. Internally, there's never really any pressure on a new Manchester United player. And that, you might think that's a strange thing for me to say, but I firmly believe that's the truth. Internally, there's not going to be an expectation from Amorim or his teammates or anybody else for him to be incredible straight away. But that's not what changes the narrative of United. What changes the narrative of what everyone else says. And everyone's going to be scrutinised to the nth degree. Look, man, if the Athletic can send Nick Miller to sit there and just watch Ruben Amorim for 90 minutes, I bloody guarantee you, for his debut, they'll be sending someone to watch, maybe not to watch him and do a full 90-minute assessment of his debut, but he's going to be scrutinised by everyone else. Just hope he's ready for that. And I hope for his sake, he just doesn't make any mistakes. It makes it a lot easier. It's a bit like a goal. It's like a striker scoring his first goal. A goalkeeper getting his first clean sheet. Yeah, nice. Yeah, nice. Geez, Victor Valdez. There's a blast from the past. Did Victor Valdez ever play for Manchester United? True or false? Guarantee not everybody would know the answer to that one. Now, the reason I pulled this, let's move on to, I want to speak about transfers, I want to speak about exits before we move on to speaking about Shea Lacey and a few other things, right? In fact, I'll read some of the chat out first. Legends of other clubs support their club no matter what the circumstances. Ours are always criticising. I've mentioned that previously. I don't think you can sort of put a blanket over any former player and say that. Like Rio Ferdinand, I think is pretty supportive of players in sort of the way that he approaches it. But Rio's not a pundit anymore. And I think it allows you to be a bit more supportive. If Gary Neville had nothing to do with Sky Sports, I guarantee you he'd be more supportive of his players. If Roy Keane didn't have the overlap and Roy Keane didn't have position on Super Sunday most weeks, I guarantee, I don't know, maybe not Roy Keane actually. Can't guarantee anything with Roy Keane. I think largely like positions as pundits force you to, you can't just be a United fan anymore. And that's the beauty of United People's TV. Like, I don't have to say anything. I don't want to get a career on the BBC. I don't want to get a career on Sky Sports. I don't have to be in middle ground. I sod that. I don't have to say things to appease other fans. I don't have to somehow keep Liverpool fans on my side and Chelsea fans, which is an absolute impossibility, by the way. But that's why these former players kind of speak the way that they speak. Because largely, sometimes they speak as if they're not United fans, which they always are. I don't have to do that, and I will never have to do that. And that's the beauty of keeping everything sort of in-house at United People's TV. Yeah. I think so anyway. Josh, you're saying Carragher's blatantly a Liverpool fan? I think out of all of them, Carragher's probably the best pundit, if I'm being totally honest. I think like from a tactical perspective, him on Monday Night Football, still class. I mean, he spits on kids. So he's a dirty scum. But decent enough pundit. Now, let's move on to this. And I just wanted to pull this up because this was the thumbnail of the video that I did 2 months ago, speaking about what my dream window would be. And you know, oh, this is a nightmare window. It's an absolute shambles. That was literally my thumbnail about what our dream summer could be. And the two players that I put there in circles are the two players that we actually ended up signing. Can't be that bad a summer. And you're talking about Neville going too far. I personally think that the reason that Neville's gone too far is because of his business interests. He's on United's board for the new stadium. He's also got, I don't know how many businesses Gary Neville's involved in now. No idea. Yeah, James, I saw that video by Steve on the media, and it's true. And all United fans know that. And if you point it out as a United fan, you get pointed out and laughed at by fans of other clubs, because I'm sure it must happen to other clubs too, but it so regularly happens to United, and United fans are so much more aware of it, of the double standards that are applied to United, that it sort of not affects us more, but I suppose we're more aware of it. Anyway, I thought that was quite funny. That was the thumbnail that I did. Anyway, this was a video I did yesterday, and I spoke about the X6. I spoke about the clear out that I think has actually bloody happened now. I think United are going to have an equally as impressive clear out for the squad to be as set as it needs to be, because next summer you're looking at, and that's kind of part of what I spoke about in this video, it wasn't a dream summer. I had Onana on my sell list, Casemiro, I had, who else was down there? Bayinde, I had Malacia, Probably Luke Shaw as well, let's be totally honest. So it wasn't perfect, but as far as the clear-outs that we're used to, it was a pretty damn good clear-out. And randomly, I just saw this coming out of Sheffield. A bit of news on Harry Mass's move. I actually thought it was really quite a nice move by United. We know that Harry Mass has gone there on loan for the season. But to help Sheffield Wednesday, United are actually covering all the costs. Wages, accommodation, any bonuses he'll receive. At a time where we're penny pinching absolutely everywhere as a football club, it's actually quite a nice little move, that. I still don't really know. Does anybody know down here in the comments? Like, did Harry push for Sheffield Wednesday? Why is it in particular that United even are paying for the move to happen for him to go to Sheffield Wednesday? Did he really want it that much? Because I'm sure there would have been an absolute ton of clubs that wanted Harry Mass on loan. Don't know. Just thought that was a little bit random. Someone down there saying, I don't mind having Shaw and Martinez. They're both okay and they both get injuries. I do. Luke Shaw's wages are phenomenal and Luke Shaw should be sold in the summer. Regardless, Luke Shaw should have been sold last summer. Already made that up. My mind up on that one. Casemiro's contract ends in the summer. This is Casemiro's last season at the club. Matt, you're saying, I read somewhere that Casemiro rejected Saudi this year. Why is it only our club that can't ship anyone off? I'll be totally honest. I think it's because of the wages that we give these players. Casemiro's on north of 300 grand a week. He doesn't have to move to Saudi for the money. And if he considers himself, and he clearly does, he goes, oh, I want one more year at the top level. You must become addicted to as an elite sports person, you must get addicted to almost the high and the dopamine you get from being a Premier League player. Like, it must be really hard to adjust after. Like, the highs that you get from life after being in the Premier League and playing at the top level and playing against Liverpool and all that jazz as a United player, or Real Madrid or anybody else, must be difficult to replicate. Really difficult to replicate, from being honest. Right, let's pull over this up here. We've got notifications coming through. We've got to pause them for a little bit longer. Right. Just random little segue there. World Cup year 2, I think is a good point there from Rerun. Casemiro wants to keep himself in the conversation, and Casemiro is away on international duty with Brazil now because Ancelotti's pulled him back into the squad. What are you saying down there? And you're saying, I think a big consideration is we've sent players on loan before and they've never got game time. Yeah, but now we're sending players on loan to clubs that haven't been able to pay their players properly over the last 4 months. I just feel like there could have been a better one. Either way, I'd love to be proven wrong, and I hope that loan move to Sheffield Wednesday works out perfectly. Now, quick conversation I want to have about Shea Lacey, right? Of all the players to come through our academy in the last few years, he has had the worst luck. Like, rotten injury after rotten injury. And I think if he had not had those, I think we'd be having conversations about Shea Lacey as a first-team squad option right now. He might even, would he have made his debut? Maybe not have made his debut. But he'd certainly be further down the line. Now, he's been out with another injury. I think did he get an injury in pre-season? No, he got an injury just before the pre-season tour, so he didn't go on the pre-season tour. And he was supposed to, and he's expected to. Anyway, yesterday, United's under-21s played a team of free agents from the PFA, and Shea scored this. 1 touch, 2 touch, bam! Woo! Cheeky. Delicious goal. The only thing that he needs this season is just stay injury-free, lad. Don't know how that gets managed by United. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't know whether he's overworking, overstretching, whether it's because he's growing at the same time. I don't know what it is, but he's had a lot of injuries. So fingers crossed that this can be the time where Shea can have 3, 4, 5, 6 months of injury-free progression in football, playing for the under-18s. Is he still 17? How old is he? He's 18. Does that mean he can't play for the under-18s? I think that's true because he's playing for the 21s now. Diego Leon also played. Could do a video on his performance. I'll have a look and see if I want to do that tomorrow. But I won't do it today. Now, little random stat here for you. I've already shown you, and I'll probably do a video on this, bringing it all together next week in the build-up to the City game. United have not had the right results in the start of this season. We lost against Arsenal, we drew against Fulham, and we won against Burnley. In terms of the performances, they weren't perfect. Like the second half against Fulham was woeful compared to the first half for sure. But we've got the highest expected goals, aka all the chances we've created, and we've created more. I think we've had more shots than anyone, more touches in the opposition box than any other team. Like second most crosses, and we just haven't scored enough. But this I thought was an interesting stat as well, because this is definitely not something that we would have seen last season. So second ball win rate. You know what that means? I don't know. Player's going for a tackle and a ball pops out. Ball's kicked long and it's knocked down. That second ball, it's something that really annoys Ruben Amorim. And kind of annoys us as fans as well. It must do. It annoys me. How United players have always been second to those balls. Not this season. Right now, United have got a 68% second ball win rate. It's nearly 7 out of 10 of those situations United are winning possession off the back of it. Now, you only do that if you that explosive first or like 1 or 2 yards. It's actually probably a weakness of Cobby's game, if I'm being completely honest. I don't know why I'm not like throwing Cobby under the bus here. The reason I'm thinking about Cobby is because we recorded a video yesterday. It's going to be going out probably on Saturday. Sort of what's going on with Cobby right now, strengths and weaknesses of his game. But I thought that stat is going to be a stat in particular that Ruben Amorim is happy with. Possession turnovers, winning the ball, not necessarily just high up the pitch, but being first to the second ball at the out of possession work rate. Something that Ruben Amorim would definitely be pushing for. That's definitely an improvement. Now, if United can just... I know we scored 3 goals against Burnley. United just be scoring like 3 goals every game, man. I suppose they do. But like these players could make their lives so much easier and sort of not stress-free, but you can remove a lot of the stress. If we had scored 1 or maybe 2 goals in the first half against Burnley, man, it would have been... Well, we got 1, right? But we didn't get the second. It could have just been so much simpler for him. It really, 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 really could. And that's why Amorim was so frustrated. Mount gets all that going, says Daz. Yeah, he did really well in the game against Burnley for sure. Now, I was speaking there about Shea Lacey's injuries. But injuries have still been a big old problem at United for a long time. For years now, really. Something that we did, was it last year? I think it was last year. We headhunted Gary O'Driscoll from Arsenal, their head doctor. We brought him in to try and shift the narrative and shift United's injury problems. That hasn't worked. So what United have done now is 2 things. 1, we are bringing in the head of medical services from Crystal Palace, Imtiaz Ahmed. He's going to be joining. I'm not sure when the crossover is, but he's coming in to replace Gary O'Driscoll. And then on top of that, United are also bringing in a new men's first team doctor. So there's going to be a new head of medical services and a new men's first team doctor. So basically, we're starting fresh again with the medical department. I think we got a new head physio in before. Haven't seen anything about him being replaced. These are the things that you won't ever hear anything about, but you're not supposed to. Ideally, you just won't have injuries, and then you don't have to moan or talk about injuries. It's been a long-standing problem at this football club. So fingers crossed, those 2 can actually make a bit of a difference in ways that Gary O'Driscoll and all of that haven't been able to do it before. Akka, you saying I'm not superstitious, but we've been cursed. I think there were some hyenas buried under Old Trafford. Must be that. There's no other logical explanation. Right, in terms of international break, I know nobody cares, but these are the players that are going to be in action. We're going to be speaking about Sesko next, and Saha's comments on him. We'll also speak a little bit about Bayindir, Ahmad, a couple of others too. But here's the fixtures. I think these are players in action today. Bayindir against Georgia, De Ligt against Poland, Onana and Mbumo, Eswatini, James Scanlon, come on, that's the big one, Gibraltar, and Chidowobi might play against Norway's under-21s. But the person I want to speak about, actually no, we'll speak about this first. Slight injury to Delo. So he's going to be coming back to Carrington, you presume. Muscle discomfort. Let's see what goes on. That's all you need to know right now. But let's have a conversation about Sesko. I think anybody who says they're sort of worried about Sesko at this point, I think feels a little bit OTT. Now, Saha said he's concerned, but he's confident, which you'd be like, hold on, Sam, it's two opposites. How does that make sense? I'll run through what Saha had to say. And he was focusing on the lack of a midfielder. He was speaking on the Athletic podcast. He said this, because I think he's capable if the manager managed to get that link between midfield and striker. Unfortunately, we didn't get the midfielder we wanted, so we're still very weak in that department. And this is why I think Sesko will maybe struggle a little bit until we get that sorted. He's got the quality because he's tall, he's going to score goals in the air, and he's very technical. All his movement is right up there. I'm very confident he's going to get chances and going to score. But to get us where I want, I don't think that's going to be on him. Those two playmakers in Cunha and Mbumo will have to kick on very soon. Otherwise, you will see Sesko struggling a bit. Now, yeah, it's sort of concerned yet confident. Like where do you sit with Sesko? I think people are going overboard right now. I suppose it's because when you're frustrated, everything seems to be problems. Like you see problems bloody everywhere when you're frustrated. If United, these first 3 games in the Premier League, we hardly created any chances. We get the ball up towards the edge of the box and then nothing happens. And there's no man. We keep putting crosses in, but there's no one in the middle. I'll probably more like, get him in now. Get him in now. Get him in now. It's kind of not the case. We should have won these first 3 games probably quite comfortably without Sesko. But you might then say, hold on, Sam, the fact that we're not being clinical enough, surely that's exactly when you need your striker to be on the pitch, because then he'll be finishing. I think United's conversion rate's about 6% Something stupid. Let me see what you're saying down here. Too soon to judge? I'd like to think that's obvious, but judgments are made on players after even a game. Even before he's yet to start a Premier League game for us, is he? Pretty sure he came off the bench against Burnley as well. And people are already making judgment calls on Sesko. Needs more game time. What's he saying down here? I'd be happy with 10 goals a season. He should start against City. Seems mentally fragile to me, says Eric. Eric, I'm curious, how are you possibly seeing that? What are you seeing on the pitch that's telling you that he's mentally fragile? Seeing as he hasn't even started for us yet. Actually thought his cameo against Burnley was pretty good. I think the movement was good for him. I think I'm looking forward to the first goal that comes from a whipped Mbumo cross and either a bullet Sesko header or like a little glancing one that goes right into the corner of the net. I think people just... I suppose it's just people want immediacy, right? Don't they? King Faye, I think that's a pretty damn good point. And I think you can... It might just be that we're just more aware of it with Sesko, but you look at Florian Wirtz, he's like a 150 mil player, and absolutely nothing's really being said about him. But why? Because Liverpool have won their first 3 games. 3 games. Had Liverpool not won those first 3 games, I guarantee you'd see more stories about Wirtz. Ooh, is he ready? Is he physically capable? No, he looks weak. He looks like he's not ready for the Premier League in any way, shape or form. But it doesn't matter, because Liverpool won the first 3 games. If United have won the first 3 games, Nobody would really be speaking about Sesko, really at all. That's what I mean. When your team isn't winning, there's more opportunities and spotlights to put on all these different little things. And all more conversations come like, this is the problem. That's the problem. That's why Wirtz is getting away with it more. Because Liverpool are winning. Winning allows others to sort of develop with less scrutiny. If you want to call it that. So ideally, we start winning games and then people can stop talking about Sesko. I'm looking forward to seeing him start. Do I think he'll start against City? Yes, I do. If he doesn't start against City, I don't think it would be anything to do with fitness. I think that would just be a choice from Ruben Amorim. But I would start him against City. Right. Bit random. Lenny Yoro called up to the French under-21 squad. I was speaking with the team yesterday. We're going to do a little mini-doc on Yoro. I think he deserves one, and I look forward to doing it. And you know what I've totally forgotten? Well, not forgotten, but I just overlook now. Yoro's 19. Let me just confirm that that's definitely right. Yep. He's still 19. You watch him play, a dude does not look like a 19-year-old, does he? We're almost now sort of expecting, you don't have to really think about Yoro, Yoro's going to have a decent game. He's going to have like a 6, 7 out of 10, like every single game. The way that he has developed since he first came in, that game, what was it last season? Was it Mane for Southampton? We got absolutely skinned. Yeah, Yoro's younger than Mainu and Garnacho. And he just plays like someone who's just been there for years, man. That's what I almost mean. Like, you don't have to think about Yoro's age anymore. You just think about Yoro as a player, as a fully fledged first team player, and he's 19. Tech Newbie saying Yoro's good, but I felt Mazraoui offered more in attacking in the game against Burnley. That's because of how Mazraoui came into the game and what was going on in the game at that time. If I remember correctly, Mazraoui came on for came on past the 80th minute when it was 2-2, didn't he? I love Yoro, man. Love Yoro. Someone down there saying, why aren't we playing Heaven? He's better than Shaw at that left centre-back. I think Shaw's actually been playing okay. And Heaven is somebody who will be eased in, for sure. But Heaven looked very good when he played last. He's just really happy with Yoro and how he's developing. I think that deserves to be sort of highlighted in a little mini-doc. The little mini-doc will sort of explain what happened last season, his development, what's happened this season, and what we can, I suppose, expect going forward. Bayindir is going to be playing for Turkey, hopefully playing in Turkey at some point very, very soon. I know we all want there to be moves from Saudi for Bayindir and moves for Onana. There's nothing really being said on anything from the Turkish side or the Saudi side as it stands. I still think it's possible, but clubs actually physically have to come in for them. But yeah, Bayindir's out there training. Ahmad, he's out there training too. And I think I said this yesterday. I might do a video before the City game on Ahmad and Mbumo's partnership that they showed against Burnley. I've been waiting to see it sort of, there you go, because it's a really exciting concept when they start complementing each other on that right-hand side, like knowing when to overlap, when to underlap, when to hold back, when to run forward. And I thought against Burnley, we really saw the first in-game example of it really working quite well. Other than that, I think a lot of the times they've been making the same runs. They've kind of gone into the same spaces. They haven't been, as I said, complementing each other well. They did against Burnley. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. Sieg's going to go watch the Turkey game, see how bad Bayindir does. It's a bit strange to do a hate watch on your own player, mate. One Tony saying, Yoro's been unbelievable so far. Brilliant player, no bad game. Dudu, interesting username. I heard Martinez will be back after the international break. I think it's possible. You know, when I did the video on what's happening with Martinez, like the return date I had down there was January. So anything you're seeing here, is going to be faster than expected. But I think with Martinez, last chance saloon might be a harsh way to describe it. But if Martinez is brought back too soon and pings a hamstring or does another long-term injury as a consequence of being rushed back, man, that would break me mentally. And I'm not sure what it would do to Martinez. But I have concerns about his ability to be able to recover from these 2 long-term injuries. So I'd much rather wait an extra month, hell, and even an extra 2 months for Martinez. Get it right. Because if there's one thing we did wrong with Martinez last time, we botched the recovery from surgery, and then he had to have a second bit of surgery because the same problem happened again. But anyway, Ahmad, yeah, I enjoyed that game from Ahmad and Mbeumo. As I said before, Casemiro's out with the Brazil squad. I really hope he just surprises me across the course of the season. I hope at the end of the season, when we do our Player of the Season awards, or end of season awards, surprise of the season, I want to be speaking about Casemiro. I wouldn't be like, wow, man, he turned back the clock, man. Like, that was, Casemiro was far better and far more reliable than I think anyone thought that he could be. Because we need that. We need a pleasant surprise in midfield. At least until January, when we might go back in. Siegs is saying, Chido Obi has gone quiet. Do you think he'll get in the matchday squad? There's actually a really good interview. I could have brought it up on here, actually, but I didn't. Really good interview with Travis Binion, who's the under-21s head coach. And he speaks about Chido. Speaks about his development, how he's gone into the first team matchday squad. And then it might feel like a little bit of a step down. But ultimately, when he's in the first team matchday squad, he's the youngster who's kind of on the fringe. When he's in the under-21s, he's the man. He is the guy. That is your place right now. Chido is 17. 17. And people kind of forget that. He was probably developed faster than even he thought possible last season because Højlund couldn't hit a barn door. We needed goals, and he was an option. But now that we've got Sesko in, you might say that we don't have much of an option past Sesko, and actually Chido is our number 2, really. In terms of natural strikers, yes, but I think Cunha can play there and Mbeumo can play there. Someone's saying Chido needs a loan. I don't have much belief in the under-21s setup. In the under-21s leagues, the way that all works at that level, I think those players can really develop at under-18s. But I think they struggle at under-21s. And the gap between under-18s and United's first team is ridiculous. Hence why you do need good loan spells. I think Chido goes out on loan next season, personally. Ox is saying, if you have 2 surgeries, you will never be the same. I had 1 surgery. I was never the same. I'm not an elite athlete, but I was a professional one. One good thing is Sean Leacher. Yeah, I can confirm. I've had 2 major surgeries, and I wasn't even slightly a bloody athlete. But it is completely not my confidence, and I'm still nowhere near. But we've started. We're back this week in the gym a couple of times. Started some cardio, trying to get these legs working again. Because I've been, truth be told, I've just been too stagnant these last couple of months. I've been working my socks off. And it was actually record months for United People's TV in terms of the coverage that we did. So I'm really proud of what we did. But I neglected myself a little bit. That's why I was looking forward to this international break, sort of reconfiguring the balance between work and looking after yourself. And that's what I'm now focusing on. Well, a bit of both. Anti's saying players mature at different rates too. We can't expect the same from each of them. No, of course. No 2 players are the same, right? No 2 players are the same. But yeah, today's video is going to be about United's squad overall. Jason is saying, did you get the home gym set up? No. The outbuilding's still getting built. I don't know how long that's going to take, and I also don't know when I'm going to be able to get the gym stuff in there. But in the meantime, I can go to the gym. Giggly, you're saying you got one of those cages on your tibia and fibula for the next 8 months. Oh, one of those like big square ones that, oh man, nightmare. That sounds like a motorbike accident or something. What do you do? That was a good show. It feels a little bit calmer. I suppose it is a little bit calmer. Tomorrow's Friday. It'll be map day, of course. Lunchtime video today is going to be on the squad. We're hopefully going to have a nice high-quality video on Cobby going out at the weekend for you. And then we'll have some other ideas too. But as I said, community members, watch out. We're going to be sending another survey to you. And this one's really important because it will steer probably the biggest project that we've done behind the scenes for the community. And we're going to be working on it for this entire season. All right. So much love to all of you. Thank you all for tuning in. If you are new, please do consider subscribing. And I will see you tomorrow on Drop a Like in the Video.